Which is also. Yeah, I feel like it's more expected on each side. But then I want there was a, that was the. Oh, no, I guess not. That's the one. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What the definition is, the definition of memory without, he's having memorized.
Oh, yes. The most important in fairs.
I guess that's why those old attorneys. Yeah, for my time, I never actually heard that.
Yes. Yeah, and if you didn't know it, it was like you were a failure. And you need to know it backwards and forward. So we had to learn it backwards and forward. They're like, you can't read it. Yes. And I can't believe they did away with that, but they did. All right. So, Brenna, today is Wednesday,
Right.
but it feels like a Friday.
It's my Friday, Judge.
Oh, it is your Friday. You're going to be gone.
I won't rub it in this.
And then Deputy Laura, you're going to be gone for 2 weeks. I don't know what we're going to do without you.
You have me here, Judge.
Yes, I do. Oh, yeah, I do. So. But my mom said you both should enjoy your time away and enjoy your vacation. But I'm still going to miss you guys.
We're gonna miss you.
All right, so I'm going to call the docket. If you're here, you need to let me know you're here. Otherwise, a warrant may be issued for your arrest. Archie Dorsett. We're starting off like it's a Monday. Kayla White. Thank you. Miguel Espinosa and Juan Martinez are in custody. Johnny Colunga. Thank you. Patricia Perez. Mario Morales and Angel Starr are in custody. Joshua Carroll. That's going to be taken care of today. Placido Jacques is in custody. Cesar Huerta is in custody. Matthew Salazar. Thank you. Richard Walthall.
Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, everyone, please confer. Normally we need attorneys Jesse Sepulveda, Neil Kauflis, Alfonso Otero. Edward Garza is present. We need Michael Collins, Deborah Burke, Anton Hayek, Ricardo Ramos, Charles Bont, and Joe Stenberg. All right, everyone, please confer.
Yeah.
All right,
I think you did that fine.
These are also- Hello.
This is the mention of is community in 6 months state jail. Okay.
All right, the court is calling 2019 CR 7256W, State of Texas versus Juan Manuel Martinez. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ryan Grimmer for the state.
For the defense?
Yeah, Ed got us one from Mr. Martinez.
Okay. And are you Mr. Martinez?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me just do this for a moment. All right, thanks. I was like, I don't see the real time.
It should be up now.
Okay. Can you do a test? Ah, yes, it's there. Thank you. All right. Mr. Martinez, I'm going to show you what's entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
I wasn't able to review it with him, but I did understand.
All right, I'll give you a chance to review it. And if you need more time, just let me know.
No, I'm aware of it.
All right, and are you ready to proceed, Mr. Martinez?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, are you the same Juan Manuel Martinez who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2019 CR 7256W for the offense of unauthorized use of a vehicle on July 3rd, 2019 for a period of 2 years and extended for a total of 1 year? Is that you?
Yes.
All right, state.
Violated condition number 5 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant Juan Manuel Martinez did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of August, September, November, and December 2021 in violation of condition number 5.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
We waive the remaining condition.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Martinez, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 5, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 5?
Yes.
All right, the court will find violation of condition number 5 true. Is there an agreement?
There is, Judge. We'd ask that you enter an adjudication of guilt and revoke his probation and sentence him to 6 months in state jail.
All right, is that the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Mr. Martinez, are you asking the court to follow that agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
Yes.
All right. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand and state your name for the record, please.
Juan Martinez.
All right, so why didn't you do well on this deferred adjudication?
COVID happened. I didn't have a job. I was going through temp agencies as trying to get a job. So during that time, I did have relapse problems, but I wasn't able to study myself. And so of last year, October, November, I finally found a job around comic signs off of 410 and 90. I was stable for 9 months, but my issue was I was working from 6:30 a.m. to all the way to 8 o'clock at night.
Mhm.
So it was either lose hours, go home, find a ride to go to do a UA, which I don't have a license. I'm always asking for a license.
There's a via bus.
I know.
And see, here's the thing. I don't know what it is about people not wanting to take the via bus. I don't know if it's pride, but I've ridden the via bus. When I first started out practicing law, I rode the bus. And guess what? I walked. As a defense attorney, when I had clients, you know what I would do? Of course, this is when I was in fantastic shape, but I would walk from the courthouse to the Bexar County Jail. And all the bondsmen knew me because time when I got to the Canal Street, I would go into this bondsman's office and I would buy a bottle of water out of their machine. They're like, Stephanie, you're back. I'm like, yeah, I'm here to visit clients. So transportation is just supposed to get you from point A to point B. Sure, if you can afford the Rolls Royce Phantom or whatever, and that's what you want to do, that's fine. But it's just to get you from point A to point B. There's no shame in how you get there.
I know, Your Honor, I know, but I was also a father too. 3-year-old, no 1-year-old.
I know, because I ordered you to do compadre
And I
classes.
completed it,
Okay.
but I started doing more for them,
Mhm.
took myself out of the question because I'd rather have them with clothes, diapers, food on the table instead of myself.
And that's the way it should be. So if you go to the state jail facility and release, what are your plans to keep your life on track so nobody sees you again for criminal cases?
No one will ever see me again here now. the 3 years I was on deferred, I had no issues besides my opiate addiction. But other than that, I was on methadone clinic on Stonewall and 35. I was doing good since I got on that. And I was coming down from 60, I dropped to 40.
Okay,
And I was going down, but
so where are you now with the dosage?
right now, since I turned myself in voluntarily, I'm no longer taking it. I was at 40.
Okay, so you're off of it completely. Any withdrawals?
No,
All right, so again, when you leave from the state jail facility, what is the first thing you're going to do?
my job at Common Science told me if I was out by the 6th, I have my 401k and my benefits, but that long past. They told me whenever I get out, I got a job.
Okay. All right, so how much time does he have in?
28 days, yeah.
28 days?
Yes.
All right, probation. What has Mr. Martinez completed on probation?
Your Honor, he completed the parenting classes. He did one round of intensive outpatient treatment.
Okay,
And sober support meetings were ongoing. UAs were ongoing. And that's it. The lifetime recovery treatment. Inpatient, it was not complete. His community service hours were not complete. And then he had a balance due.
okay. Because I don't see where I ordered inpatient treatment. I guess that must have come later.
I think your last judge, he had several missed tests and several positive.
That happened when I got my extended a year.
Okay,
But on the community service hours, when I first agreed, there were prorated, I think.
okay.
Meaning I didn't have to complete the level.
Well, no, the community service hours, what I did probate his community service hours. And since he completed parenting classes, I know I would have had those waived for completion of that.
Yes, Your Honor, the system was not updated with that, but I can make sure that it's
All right, thank you. What is his criminal history? I see he's on deferred adjudication, so I'm assuming.
Which I only have here in Bear County, but I believe this may be his main case here in Bear County.
All right, any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to find you guilty. This court will sentence you to 30 days in the Bear County Jail under 1244. Give you credit for any time served. And I'll show that your judgment is satisfied so that you can get back to work and take care of your children. Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, say, did you have any objection to the court doing a 1244?
No.
No,
Judge, no, I mean, I guess our main position was just that he had not done very well on probation based on what we saw. So we were asking for a revocation, but if the court feels that it's that's appropriate, we're not gonna do that.
All right. And Mr. Martinez, the reason why I'm doing that is because one, you did complete the parenting classes, and sometimes people don't successfully complete their contract with the court. But I try to balance what did they do? What was I hoping would be accomplished with the probation? So it appears to me the fact that you were on the methadone, you're now no longer on methadone. The fact that you have employment, the fact that you completed the parenting classes, I hope that we won't see you here again. All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I've actually given you something better than what you pled for. And because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question on what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. Good luck to you. The first thing you need to do is time you leave the jail, you need to get in some sober meetings because people want to celebrate. Don't do that.
Some of my kids,
Okay. Your children,
yes.
not kids. Okay. All right, good luck to you. And Mr. Garza, how's your wife doing?
She, you know, we're getting up in age, Judge, and she's having some minor medical problems, but you know, for the most part, she's coming out okay, but the mammogram was a little scary. And so there's gonna have to be some more tests, but hopefully it's gonna be okay.
Okay, well, we will definitely send prayers out, and my mom and I will.
Thank you.
All right, and if you ever need to leave or do something, just let us know and
Well, I
we'll,
appreciate it. And I'm so sorry about yesterday. I missed the doctor calling. Yeah.
oh, no, that's fine.
I didn't, you know, I didn't see the notice or whatever.
Oh, no, that's fine. I always tell people there are other things going on in life.
Yeah.
Sometimes things happen, so that's fine.
We were at doctor's offices almost all day yesterday.
Okay.
So, but anyway, it's all getting taken care of.
All right, well, take us some flowers and enjoy the day.
I'm going to
Take her for a picnic or something on the Riverwalk.
Well, she's going to go get her lashes done today, so that's fun for her.
Oh, yeah, that's gonna be awesome. All right, have a good one. Thank you. All right, Archie Dorsett. Thank you. Where's Archie Dorsett? All right, is there a reason he was late?
Sorry, I drove him over with traffic and then the fact that he
Okay.
was a little slow getting around. Apologize.
All right.
All the construction downtown.
Oh, no, there is. There's a lot of one ways. And counsel, you're on the wrong side.
Sorry.
It throws me off.
I apologize. I've also got the complaint in here, Your Honor. I'm certainly wanting to hear from her as well.
Okay. All right, have you conferred with the state?
I have with Michelle and she has no objection to it, but she said that you wanted to hear him.
All right, Brenna,
Yes,
we're gonna go on the record.
okay, just,
Court is calling 2021 CR 5320, State of Texas versus Archie Dorsett III. Could I have parties approach and announce for the record for the state, for the defense?
Jesse Sepulveda.
And are you Archie Dorsett? All right, so the defendant is currently on probation, and it's my understanding we're not here for a motion to revoke. We're here with the defense's request for a motion to modify conditions of probation.
Correct, Your Honor. More specifically, the no contact order.
All right, and state, do you have any objections to the request?
No, I reviewed this, or Michelle reviewed it with me and said that she had no objection.
All right, and counsel, you have the complainant present?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, if she could come forward, please. And Mr. Dorsett, if you need to take a seat, you can actually have a seat.
Araceli, come on.
All right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. If you could state your name for the record and please spell it.
Araceli Coronado. Aracely Coromado.
All right, does anyone have any questions?
I do, Your Honor.
Yes.
Araceli, how are you related to Archie Dorsett?
That's my husband.
How long have you been married?
I'm sorry, you're gonna need to speak up a little
Oh,
bit.
13 years. Over
Yeah.
13 years.
Do you have any children together?
Yes, we do.
How many?
3,
Can you tell the judge the ages of the children?
7, 12, and 13.
All right. You're also the complainant on the case that he's on probation for, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
And he's been on probation since August 26th of 2021.
Yes,
And has he been compliant as far as you know with his probation?
yes, it has.
Now, Archie suffered a stroke, is that correct?
Yes,
Is that around May 22nd of this year?
correct.
How has he been affected after the stroke?
Possibly been affected
Physically?
physically. He cannot walk right. He doesn't have balance. And as far as I know, he has like memory loss. Whenever you tell him something fresh, he can't remember. And I think he can be on his own.
Have you talked to his doctors and his medical providers?
Yes, to the doctor in the hospital.
Is he capable of working?
No, he
Is,
can't.
is he capable of taking care of himself?
No,
Are you asking the judge to modify the condition of probation that doesn't allow contact with you to be modified to be a no harmful or injurious contact?
yes, sir.
All right. Are you also asking the judge if you would allow him to move back into the house with him?
Yes, please.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell the judge?
Well, I think what happened to us, what happened to him, it changed everything. And I know my kids want him back. They ask me all the time, when is he gonna come back? Because we do need him in our family, because they're growing up, they're getting older. And we need him to help us out, and we would like to help him out too.
So you're going to be assisting him financially and just daily, is that correct, with his activities?
Yes,
Are you also asking the judge if she would probate or waive the fine or whatever money is owed to the probation officer?
Yeah.
That's all I have. Ron.
All right, the fine has already been probated. Any questions, State?
Just quickly, you understand that this court needs to understand the truth from you in writing, so if you have any reservations about that, this is the opportunity to go to the court and know about any concerns you might have about being in the house with him. You understand?
yes,
So knowing that you still wish to have contact with him and you still wish to reside with
yes, sir.
him.
So I have a few questions. With regards to the reason for his being on probation, I read that, of course, when I placed him on probation, and I also reread it in anticipation of this hearing. So what is different? And when I say what is different, other than he had this medical episode, what changes are there that you think this won't happen again?
Well, I think it won't happen again because it opened our eyes. The way when that happened to him, we thought he wasn't gonna be here anymore. So it's like, we can't be doing that anymore. We have to live our lives and educate our kids.
Okay, so here's the thing. It appears that it has opened your eyes, but when I reread the police report, he's the one who's on probation. It's like not you. And sometimes I'm concerned because I see in these type of cases, people taking responsibility for someone's actions, or the children taking responsibilities for someone's actions. And that appears to be what I'm hearing from you now. If it's not, and I'm interpreting it incorrectly, just let me know. Do you think any of this was your fault?
No,
All right. Do you think any of this was the children's fault?
no,
So whose fault was it?
it's fault.
All right. So how do you think things will be changed from his standpoint if I were to lift the no contact order and allow him to move in with you?
By helping me out in a lot of things. Like with the kids, and for him to realize that he can't be doing wrong because there's consequences to it.
So other than this incident, has he ever been violent with you before?
In the past,
All right. And other than this incident, has he been violent with the children before?
no, never.
So are there any guns in the home?
No, no,
Does your husband have any access to any guns?
No,
And where is he currently living?
I have no idea where he's staying.
Okay. All right. Do you have any fear of him staying?
No, I don't.
All right. Do you have any fear for your children if you were allowed in the house?
No, no.
And he's not, I'm assuming he's not employed. So are you planning on supporting him financially?
Yes,
All right. Any other questions?
Well, he's also applying for disability, is that correct?
yes, correct.
All right, and have you noticed a change in Archie as far as just, has he been humbled by this entire incident?
Yes, totally.
All right, so you're not threatened or
No.
in fear of him in any way?
No, no.
So when did this incident, when did the medical incident occur?
May 22nd of
May
this year.
22nd, 2022?
Yes.
All right. Any other questions, State?
No.
All right. Thank you so much for coming down. I appreciate that. All right. Could I see Mr. Dorsett again?
Yes, Your Honor.
And if there's a chair for him and he needs to sit down in a chair, I think that has a chair to it. You may sit down in that chair, okay?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Dorsett, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
You can lower your hand. State your name for the record.
Archie Dorsett.
All right, any questions, defense?
Judge was asking out of Sally about any changes that you've made. Please tell her how you feel like you've changed and how things are, why things will be different.
I think my whole body changed. My mentality, my physical. Everything changed. Since this happened, my body is not the same. Same. Feel more peaceful. I just want peace. That's it. Peace I need.
All right, you need to speak up so I can hear you.
I just need peace, man. That's it. I need peace. So I can get better. Yeah, I think. But a lot of things about me have changed. Physical, mentally. Just need to be relaxed, happy.
Are you asking the judge to allow you back in the house with
Yes,
your
ma'am.
wife and your
That's
children?
one of the things that I have in my heart, my family.
And you understand that you'll still be on probation. If you violate that probation, you
yeah.
can still be revoked.
And I've been doing good since I got my job. Well, now that I'm not working, I mean, I don't know what to say. I got sick, but since I came out, you gave me that chance of probation. I found a job. I found a place where to stay. My boss was very happy with me. I was working 10 to 10, 24/7. And since this happened, it's depressing.
I just say you talked about it, opened your eyes.
Yes,
Has it?
yes, ma'am. Yes, sure.
Okay,
Does it also change your heart
This
as far as how you treat your wife?
indeed, every female, anybody.
That's all I have.
all right, State.
Have-
All right, I just have a few. So you keep saying that things have changed. What specifically has changed other than you had a medical episode and now, physically you have issues?
I don't know. Can you repeat that?
All right. Let me put it this way. A lot of people have life-death experiences. And then they say, oh, I could have been killed, so let me stop using drugs. Other than you having this life-death experience, what really has changed internally with you? Because you're telling me you want peace. Sometimes whether you have peace or not is completely up to you. If you bring violence into a home, that's you bringing violence into a home. And I'm trying to make a determination or a prediction. Okay, I'm trying to make a determination or a prediction how your behavior will be if I allow you in the home. This is not the Minority Report. I don't have, this is not Tom Cruise. I don't have 3 people that I can see what your actions are going to be in the future?
One of them, I don't wanna get hurt. Second, I don't wanna be in jail. Third, I need my health back. I'm not to commit nothing else like that. I don't have nothing like that in my mind.
Okay, but you
I
see
gave a
every,
big- I gave a big turn now.
okay, but you see everything that you're telling me is
I can't
you
do
in
that.
avoidance. It's, I don't want to go to jail. But the fact that you don't want to go to jail is not necessarily changing your mindset that it's wrong to solve your issues with violence.
Sorry, man. Sorry, I reply that. It is that I wanna be back with my family. I'm never gonna do it again. I don't see myself doing that again no more. I can't explain it, how I feel. Well, I don't know how I explain it, man. But I will not commit it again. I will not commit that again. I'm not even physical to do something like that again. I don't know what to say, man.
All right. Have you started any of your BIP classes?
I finished one, man.
All right,
Finished one.
only
Yes.
one?
Yes, man. Yeah, it was like 6 months, I think, something like 6 months. Then I just did parenting and that's it.
Well, no. Did you finish your BIP course? Probation, did he finish BIP?
Your Honor, there's a certificate of completion on file, which date of May 11th, 2022.
All right. So what did you learn from that course?
Oh, man, that did show me a lot. I remember something about not paying attention, how to dodge gaslighting, because many men, right, get real offended when they gaslight, especially by the woman. And I don't know how it's bad, but it's like they showed me how to have more patience, how to have more empathy, how to have more empathy, more understanding that not everybody's the same, nobody's tied to nobody. Mainly I learned how to take choices, better choices, better choices. That was what the class was about, mainly have better choices.
All right. And did it teach you about the impact violence has on children?
Yes, man, yes.
And so what did your violent actions, what type of impact did they have on your children?
That I scared them with my anger that day, that I scared them. Because one, they had never seen me like that too. And two, because they freaked
All right,
out.
no. Let's backtrack. What do you mean they never seen you about like that before? Because you've been abusive to her before.
Yeah, but my kids were not around. I apologize. I meant because they were not there. But,
Okay.
But even though they were there or not there, I would never come in there again.
All right. Any other questions, state,
Mayor,
defense?
No, you're on.
All right. Could I see Ms. Coronado again, please? All right, and sir, you can take a seat back. All right, Ms. Coronado, you're still under oath. You've heard what Mr. Dorsett has said about what he's learned. Hearing what he said, the words, and I hope you had a chance to internalize what he said. Do you still wish to have the no contact order lifted?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else from the state or the defense?
Mayor,
No, you're
All
on.
right, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and state you have no objection?
Mayor,
All right, so Mr. Dorsett, I will modify the conditions to no harmful or injurious contact. And let me just tell you what that means for this court. I don't care about what other courts are doing. For this court, no harmful or injurious contact means there's no yelling, there's no screaming, there's no speaking to people with disrespect. You understand? There are no harsh words. Everything that you do in that household had better be done with love and in a lovingly manner. because you have a lot to make up for with your children. And the trust between you and your children and you and your wife was destroyed by this whole incident. And with your wife, it was probably destroyed by other incidences. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have a lot to make up for, and don't think you can come into that household after what you did and start laying down the law for your children. You understand? All right, is there anything else from either side?
I think I'm state, Your Honor.
Your Honor, you said the fines were probated already?
Yes, the $1,500 fine was already probated. All right, and Ms. Coronado, before you leave probation, could you give her a contact number for probation? So Ms. Coronado, I'm going to give you a contact number for probation. So if there's any issues, you need to contact probation and of course 911. Okay, you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, is there anything else, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor. So just to be clear, the no contact order is going to be modified to no harmful or injurious contact.
Yes,
And he will be allowed to move back into the home and reside with his
Yes.
family.
yes,
Very good.
Give me, Judge.
you're welcome.
May I be excused?
Yes. Counsel, probation will have to give him new conditions.
Matthew Salazar, can you copy the violation report? Matthew Salazar. No, I think.
All right, and probation, could you also change on his conditions that he's provide medical documentation that he's no longer capable of work? All right, thank you.
There's no file, just come to court.
I know it's one. I'll search the council.
All right, could I be placed on mute and kill video, please? All right, Mario Morales.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Excuse me for being late today.
No problem.
Basically, if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have it.
But you know what? It's still luck.
There was a story about somebody selling luck on those 22 pieces, but you know what piece you got. Anyhow, Mr. Morales maintains his desire for trial, and I can understand.
Mhm.
Talk to the prosecutor, is always reasonable, and he would certainly work something out if possible.
All right,
Because we're ready when you get a jury and haven't dressed again.
okay, so Mr. Morales, your plea deadline date has expired as of today. Your attorney could not be here yesterday, so it was recalled today. So I extended your plea deadline date for today, for you to have a chance to discuss that with your attorney. Have you had a chance to discuss with your attorney all of the options
Yes.
and the consequences of entering a plea and not entering a plea? All right, Ms. Ferguson, I need a jury trial date for Mr. Morales in the chat box, please. And the court has a discovery acknowledgement, and that discovery acknowledgement is from July. So is there any need for supplemental discovery?
No, but I guess I need to visit with the prosecutor about his outcry notices.
All right, so Mr. Morales, you are going to be in impact court on October 31st. And you will be brought over dressed for trial in whatever clothing you have at the Bexar County Jail. If you wish to be brought over in different clothing, then you'll have to make a clothing exchange with your attorney. Your attorney cannot exchange clothing if you don't sign the form for the clothing exchange. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And counsel, if there's some sort of issue with the clothing exchange, just let the court know and we'll see if we can expedite that.
That's very kind of you.
All right, thank you. So it'll be, yes, it'll be October 31st in impact court. And if you would like to remain to speak to the state regarding any outcry.
I better get to the other courts. They're screaming.
Oh, you know what? Sometimes when people scream, people don't hear very well. So that's just fine. So please talk with the state about the,
I enjoyed that speech about being loving. I just missed there's no physical contact either.
yeah.
You didn't say that.
So just talk with the state quickly, Mr. Thank you. And where's the attorney on White?
I'm here, Your Honor. We're just going back through the PSI.
All right, thank you. Could I see the file on Kayla White, please? Just give me 1 second. All right, are you all ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 0499, State of Texas versus Kayla Lynn White. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Michael Hillary off the state.
for the defense?
Surgery bar for Miss Kayla White.
All right, so we're back here for sentencing. The defendant had applied for deferred adjudication. The court, because it wasn't noted on the docketing sheet, the court reviewed the stipulations and found there was sufficient evidence to find her guilty, but deferred finding of guilt. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 5 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine. State is remaining silent. They're taking in consideration 2022 CR 0841D. There's an affirmative finding of family violence and no contact with Alexander White and Kayla Connor. And we're back here because the court had an issue with 2022 CR 0841D. So have both parties had a chance to look into that case?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so give me information.
And I can tell you, Judge, I know we're silent, so I'm just trying to speak about factual issues.
Mhm.
Is being taken into consideration in the sense that, I guess, two parts. Number one is that she has stipulated as part of stipulations to this, I believe, part of the indictment on the second case, so she's taking accountability for that portion. That's partly why. Number two is that two of the co-defendants, which is Kayla Connor and Brandon White, have taken responsibility for their part of the actions. I believe Brandon White actually went to prison because he's the main actor in that case. And then third, it was just, as you are aware, being a former prosecutor, it was made in consideration to prevent a child witness from having to testify unnecessarily when we have the same degree of offense for both cases.
All right.
And Your Honor, to speak to the case, I've spoken at length with Ms. White. I've really thought back over all the case, the other case that the court has been asking me about.
Okay, you're whispering.
You're gonna have to
I'm
speak.
sorry. I've had a chance to talk to Ms. White, and I really had a chance to look over the case and think about the questions that the court asks on this. I think the conversation I had with Kayla immediately after this past week, and we had a chance to kind of sit down and talk.
Voice up.
I'm sorry. I usually try to project.
Brenda,
something.
this is he's lowering his voice. You remember, I know people don't listen to the radio anymore, but they used to have Secret Storm or whatever, and people have the low voice. So if you could put it up here.
Right. You know, Jed, and I think it might be my allergies. I'm susceptible to mold, so my apologies if that's.
I
what it
mean,
is.
Barry White had a low voice, but you could still hear everything he was saying.
Sometimes I try to. Pull it,
Okay.
Doesn't always work.
Oh.
But to continue, Judge, whenever our conversation was really telling, you know, Kayla's very emotional in speaking about it, and she has been in the past. So the way just to lay out the facts of the situation, she was residing in this apartment, decent sized apartment with her husband. The COVID pandemic occurs, and Brandon White, who is the father of the child in the other case, implores them to allow him to move in there during the
Oh, no, I remember the facts of the
Yes, ma'am.
case. I'm just trying to figure out what, honestly, the taken in consideration, which has been explained by the state.
Yes, Judge, and I'll be very brief. The way that in our conversations with the state and going through it, I think Michael is spot on that Kayla's always been willing to take responsibility for any part that she played in any of this. I think it's very clear in the way I've explained it, and this is me advocating for her as well. She's working as she does now, lengthy hours, and when she's home, most of the time she's sleeping. In talking to her, it's very clear in this case that Brandon White, the individual's, Alex's father, the child's father, essentially had the most interaction with the child. And he lived sort of a secretive life. I don't know if secretive is even the right word to put there. They lived their lives, and Kayla, to the degree that possible, continued to try to live hers. But when you talk to her about it, and I've related this to the states, that does she wish she was more perfect? Does she wish that she could have done, looking back on it, could have maybe done more or done those things? Yes, of course. I think everyone wishes they were perfect on things. But I truly believe, Your Honor, that she thought she was doing best, that she was trying to play her role, and that she trusted that that the child's parent, would be taking care of things in a responsible manner. Having a chance to look at the case in total, to look at Kayla White's role and everything, and what could have been done, I do not believe that I personally do not believe that she is guilty of committing any abuse or violence toward Alex. But again, that's part of the conversation that we were having here, is that I think that when you look at the roles that were played here, Kayla White's role, while she will be the first to admit she could have done maybe more, was not the one that was resulting in the injury to the child. And so I think for those reasons, Judge.
I'm sorry, just one moment. Sorry for that interruption. That was a medical call. All right.
May I proceed?
Yes.
And so looking at the case and looking at the situation with Ms. Connor, everything, the letters that I presented to the court last week, I think the picture that is painted is one that I believe of her that is within my sense of her, which is that she's always going to do her best. She wants to do her best, always. Will she make mistakes in life? Absolutely. But she's the type of person that will do whatever she can to make amends for those, to do better for herself, for her family, for her community. And I think that in the court's mercy, should she be provided and allowed to do a deferred adjudication, community supervision, the court will see that she will attend all of her appointments, do what is asked of her, not just the bare minimum, but beyond that. That's the person that I know her to be. And I think that's the reason why we're here today in this specific situation.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth? So help you God? All right, you're gonna have to speak up.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, could you state your name for the record?
Kayla Lynn White.
All right, where are you living?
I am currently living at 5711 Cuba Road in Seguin, Texas with my general manager and her mother.
All right, are there any children in that home?
No.
All right, where's your husband?
He's living with a friend as far as I know of. I don't know which friend and I don't know where.
Are you all still together?
We are still married.
But no, are you still together? Are you still in contact?
No.
What's his name?
Christopher White.
So is she asking that her probation be transferred to Seguin, or would she be staying in Bear County?
Either way is fine with me. If it's in
No.
San Antonio, I'll take it.
No, let's not do the either way.
It would be Seguin, Judge. I think that would probably, just knowing these things, I think it would probably be best.
So are you asking that your probation be transferred to Seguin?
Yes, Your Honor.
Probation, is that possible?
Your Honor, it won't be transferred from that account. It will still be supervised here.
Okay. All right, the court will follow your plea bargain agreement. There's a $1,500 fine. That will be probated. 5 years deferred adjudication. Take in consideration 2022 CR 0841D. There's to be no contact with the following persons: Christopher White, Alexander White, Kayla Connor. There's to be proof of employment within 15 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Defendant is not allowed to reside in any household with minors. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. If you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
Negative, except for my medications that I'm currently taking.
What medications?
It is a generic Lexapro. I can't pronounce it. It's Calipram or something like that. And I also take trazodone for sleeping, but I haven't taken it in a week because I haven't needed it. I've been too exhausted.
All right, what are you on those medications for?
Trazodone for sleeping because I have severe insomnia, and the generic Lexapro for my bipolar disorder.
All right. I'm going to ask for a MIC evaluation. And the defendant, you're going to have to sign a release so that the probation can have access to any of the medications and doctor's reports. There's to be regular UAs, field visits, 1 time per month, random. And that's until further notice. State, it's not listed in here. Are you all requesting any type of classes? Because there's not a BIP class listed or anger management.
I think it's because we were silent, Judge, we didn't make any.
Okay, thank you. All right, the BIPP course. All right, and State, I know you're silent, but now that you know there's the court is granting her application, is there any condition that you think will be helpful for her? To
No,
her?
Not that I could think of, Judge, other than Christopher White is a fugitive from his court.
Mhm.
So I hope that if she does not have that information, but if she does, that she pass that on to law enforcement so that he can be brought to court, face the charge. He's a co-defendant on this case.
Okay. All right, you realize you're not to have any contact with Christopher White. That means not by phone. That means not in person. That means not by card, not by any type of signals. You understand? If you end up having contact with him, that's going to be a violation of your probation. A motion to revoke will be filed, and you could be looking up to 10 years in prison. Do you understand? Probation, is there anything else that she needs? Probation, is there anything else she needs?
No.
Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And because there's an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes,
If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to your attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your
All right, good luck to you. Remain in the courtroom. Probation will go over conditions with you.
Thank you for your time, Your Honor.
All right, you're welcome.
Did the sureties get off? Is it a plan? It's leaving the contact. How can she not fiance? He's putting in your house. Well, that's not the violation. That's just sex. Oh, shh. But it's still a jury.
Hello.
Judge, I know the court needs court file, so this is a different situation.
Which case is this?
Last week I came in with an explanation on Mr. Curry and then
Yes.
forward. And
Yes.
now Mr. Curry. Before we make a mistake, what wanted an update on where we're
Yes.
at.
All right, what is the update on this case?
Judge, I'm going to give the case to the intake prosecutor to make a decision on whether it should be indicted or not.
Okay, when is that happening?
Our intake person is working mag this week, so it'll be sometime next week.
All right, so when you say sometime next week, this is what we'll do. We're gonna come back. Mr. Porter, if you can come back the week of October 10th, and so we can see where we are.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, Matthew Salazar.
He did.
All right, come forward, Mr. Salazar. All right. Mr. Salazar, we have issues. And these are the issues, and then we'll go on the record. So you are on bond with offense dates of January 1st. I'm sorry, January 16th, 2022 and August 11th, 2021. And then on August 29th, 2022, you have a new offense. Now, mind you, I don't take any of these offenses as true because the court is not in receipt of facts that have been presented to me. Caroline, there is another case for him. It's 2022 CR 3264. Thank you. So I have this violation report. That's a problem. You understand? So is there an agreement on this violation report?
I don't believe that there is.
All right, so she's going to bring the other file out and we're going to have a hearing on the violation reports. Counsel, are you going to have any witnesses?
Well, Judge, I got the notice for the hearing last night after 5.
No, well, let me just tell you, the reason why notices come late is because sometimes these cases are like extremely important because he's on bond for violent offenses. And then I get notice that there's this other violation. That's an issue.
Well, and what happens is, I didn't even know about this violation. However, I had started a couple days earlier communicating with one of the assistant district attorney about this case, where I showed her videotapes, police reports of the complainant going over to my client's house. Even showed a video and a picture where.
But see, here's and I understand what you're saying, Mr. Cox, I understand, but here's the issue. The issue is this new case that's before me, the repeated violation of court order or bond condition. The issue is whether or not this occurred at his house Now, that doesn't mean that that makes the case not one that the state can go forward on, but it will help me make a decision on whether or not he violated the conditions that I set. So what I want to know, and what parties need to let me know, is whether or not this offense date of August 29th, 2022, was that when the complainant was at his home, or is it somewhere else? And I will tell people these violation reports, I know other courts don't do this, but I always set hearings on violation reports. But technically, I don't have to set a hearing on a violation report. I can just make a decision on what's presented before me. So if you all want to sit back and confer a little bit to let me know whether or not this offense date of August 29th, 2022, whether or not that occurred at his home, that'll be something that I would be interested to hear.
And Judge, I can just go ahead and tell you it's not.
Well, no, I'll let you all sit back and confer.
But if, what I was just about to say, Judge,
Mhm.
if you have a photograph of the complainant breaking into his house, then how do you bring him forward? Well, when he can't keep her away, what can he do?
I understand, but my,
She breaks in. I got the photograph of her breaking into his house, halfway in, halfway out.
No. I understand if y'all want to present that, you can.
We're ready.
All right, do y'all want to proceed now, or would you like to come back this afternoon so you can have everything you need?
Well, it's so many incidences, Judge. I may need a little bit more time. I mean, to give a court a good picture of it. But it just seemed like we had, when I was in law school, I don't know if they still do that. They had some called the clean hands. You know, you can't come before a court. We call a court of law, court of equity, with unclean hands.
Mhm.
You know, so my position is that they're pushing to. And what about, I mean, I got 5 police reports.
All right.
So I would think, Judge, if
So I'll this is what I'll do. I'll let you all confer some more. And we will come back at 11:30. That gives everybody an hour to present whatever they want to present and confer with each other.
okay, that's fine.
But Mr. Salazar needs to remain in the courtroom. All right. All right, we'll come back on that. Oh, I don't have a rubber band.
Hey, good morning.
Hello, hi.
Just want to introduce you. This is Ivana Stato.
Hello.
Judge.
Hello, Ivana. Nice to meet you.
She's one of our new interns.
Ah, so where are you at in law school?
I'm a last semester 1L because I'm part-time.
Oh, wow. Well, that's awesome. You know, once the first year passes, everything goes by quickly.
Yeah,
Whether
this
you're
semester
part-time or
feels
what.
like I got it. Okay, it's moving.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Come down anytime you want to.
I will. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Nice to
Bye.
meet you.
You too. Hello.
Hi, good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Yes, do you have your file?
I don't.
Oh, it's an expansion?
It
Okay,
is.
sure.
Okay, thank you. Your staff's been very helpful. You want the quick version?
Yes, just give me 1 second.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and Norma, I sent you a chat. All right, yes. Can I see the?
Yes, ma'am. Let me show you my petition first.
Okay. Okay.
So Judge, I have an agreed order signed by Ms. Bowen.
There you are.
Thank you.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome. All right, have
Alrighty.
a good one.
I will. You too.
All right.
All right. Thanks,
You-
Miss Norma and the. So I know you guys, it's been a busy week already for you
Oh,
guys.
yes.
So it's good.
All right.
I like your owl as
Oh,
well.
thank you.
The wise animal.
Have a
Yeah.
good one.
All right. You got the Tennessee coming in town in a few weeks. So
We'll see what happens, but Cornelius, his team hasn't been doing as well.
he switches though. You know, I mean, it's Florida, you know, then he'll put on the Miami
I know.
Hurricanes.
He
he'll-
will.
But
Yes. So we shall see.
we will. We
All
will.
right.
Thanks, Judge.
All right. Have a good one. Tell your father I said hi.
I will.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Cesar Huerta.
Morning,
Hello.
Judge.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you today?
Oh, I am doing great. It's a beautiful day. It feels like a Friday. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping the Friday vibe continues and it doesn't turn into a Monday.
I feel
It
conflicted
all
because
depends on you.
Whenever the weather gets nice, my allergies kick up. So I'm like, oh, it feels so good. But then I get an octave flower and
Ah.
it's coming at her. It's bad.
Well, whether it turns into a Monday or not, it's all on your shoulders. All right. So what is happening?
Judge, Mr. Huerta is the gentleman that I got appointed to
Yes.
yesterday.
All right, could everyone please make sure you whisper?
We have conferred, Judge, with Mr. Groomer this morning. He's extended a very generous offer.
Okay.
I'm just asking for maybe 2 weeks to be able to review the videos in the case and give a court a decision as to whether we're going to resolve it or head towards a trial.
All right, so do you want 2 weeks to be your plea deadline date, or you just want it to be a regular setting?
If we could keep it a regular setting just in case.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, could I have a 2-week reset on Mr. Huerta, please?
She's gone.
No, she's on Zoom.
Oh.
All right, we're gonna come back on October 17th.
October 17th.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Mr. Huerta, we'll see you on the 17th, okay? All right, you're welcome. Mhm. My writing is getting that bad. Oh, until further notice.
Oh, okay.
Don't tell my handwriting teacher. She would be so disappointed. I'm sorry, Miss Leslie. All right, the court is going to call 2022 CR 2753, State of Texas versus Angel May Star. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state? For the defense?
Rick Ramos.
And are you Angel Star? All right. Deputy Laura, is it possible to move Mr. Stenberg and his client to the other end? All right, counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
Yes, sir.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Starr, I'm showing you what's entitled application for community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? Next, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Starr, I'm going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, I did.
All right, did you understand what you're charged with? Possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 gram to 4 grams, that's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand? If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you are giving up those rights?
Yes, I did.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Your Honor.
Did you understand that the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication? If for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Starr, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes,
Are you a U.S. citizen?
yes, I am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page, did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, I did.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishments be assessed at 2 years in the prison. There are no applications for deferred adjudication. The state recommends community supervision. There's $57 to SAPD for drug testing. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense is at the plea.
Yes, Your Honor.
State is at the plea.
Yes, sir.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. State is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 2 years. There'll be a TAP evaluation and 150 hours of community service restitution. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest, ma'am.
State any evidence.
Yes, State Officer State's Exhibit 1 and its attachment.
No objections, Your Honor.
Ms. Starr, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
I did, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Other than the fact, Your Honor, that my client has taken great lengths to try to get herself clean. She has been in recovery in motion while she's been in Dare County Jail. And she's just ready to put this behind her, get back to her children, Judge, and do whatever it is the court will order her to do with no issues, Judge. And she asked that the court follow the plea agreement and place her on probation.
Where are you from?
Originally from Arkansas, but my kids are Kansas area right now.
What do you mean your children are in the Kansas area?
And they live in the state of Kansas. I'm just ready to.
Who do they stay with?
My mother.
How old are your children?
I've got a 13-year-old, I've got a 10-year-old and a 9-year-old.
When's the last time you were in their life on a permanent basis?
Other than like distance wise, I mean, I speak with them on the daily through Facebook, and we do the Instagram thing, but I've been stuck kind of down here on work related items that I've been working through with my boss. I came down here on a contract. So it's been,
Who are you? What work are you doing where you say you came down here on contract?
I came down here on American Handrail Services,
I'm sorry, what?
doing underground utilities,
No, what was the employer?
American Handrail Services.
Okay. So how does that turn into you're coming down to do work and now you are using heroin and are homeless?
I had gotten, during this time, it was a very bad turmoil. My soon-to-be ex-husband had gotten placed under arrest, and during the time, the guy had taken off of the company, the owner of the company of the excavation services that we were running, and had bolted on us and left us at a hotel. So he wasn't a very good boss to be around during the time. But now I'm working with American Handrail Services. So I got another contract under him with Eric Vidal.
Okay, I'm looking at physical signs of your addiction. And those appear to be older than I just came down to San Antonio.
It's been 5 years
When did you first start? What year?
of my addiction.
Mhm.
It was back in, right after my son passed away. It's been 5 years.
All right, so is Child Protective Services involved?
No, ma'am.
Were they ever involved?
No, ma'am. I did it legally in the smart terms with my children. We still haven't full parental rights to my children.
Mhm.
I give my mom temporary guardianship in order to better my children's lives.
Mhm. So where are you going to be living if you were released from custody?
At 203 San Angelo. and
Wait, who lives there?
I used to live there. His name's Roy Laurel. He helps me out a lot. I pay $200 while working, to be.
How old is Roy Laurel?
He is 86.
Where did you meet him?
I met him through working. Actually, we went and redid the roof of his house. Almost the whole time I lived here in San Antonio, 5 years.
Okay, I don't understand how she comes down here for excavation. And then the next thing you know, she's doing a roof on somebody's house.
Well,
It's a construction company, is my
Yes.
understanding. Your Honor. So they'll take contracts wherever they can get them, whether it's residential or commercial. And to be clear, you don't live with Mr. Laurel, you live in the back, there's an RV.
yes, correct.
So she's not living with the gentleman, but that's the address of the location. Your Honor.
I have concerns about her living there.
I believe you'd also be willing to go to Haven for Hope.
Yes, through the ITP program.
All right, because I don't know this person. I don't know anything about him, and I don't know why someone would take on someone who has a heroin addiction and let them live on their property, whether it's inside the house, outside the house. And he's 86. Does he have a wife?
No, Your Honor.
Does he live by himself?
Yes,
Does he have any grandchildren?
no.
Does he have any children?
His children are grown and well above the age.
All right, sounds to me like Mr. Laura is either lonely or he's looking to take advantage, or you may end up taking advantage of him. and the court is not going to allow that.
Okay, may I be ITP program with Haven for Hope? I have no issue
Mm.
in doing that.
I mean, you're going to go somewhere. I'm just trying to figure out where.
My sobriety as well is the way I'm looking at it too.
All right. Is there anything else for me to cite?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, the court will sentence you to 2 years in prison, suspended and probated for 2 years. I'm sorry, suspended and probated for 3 years. There's $57 restitution to SAPD for testing. 150 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. Court is not requiring you to get the COVID vaccination, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be waived. I'm going to want parenting classes. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. The UA hotline until further notice. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. There's to be a referral to felony drug court. That's to take place while she's in custody. They will see you next week because we're late in the week. They may be able to get to you Friday, but the latest, it'll probably be Monday or Tuesday. And once she's seen by felony drug court, she can be released. I'm going to want a TAP evaluation. I'm going to allow the TAP evaluation to be done out of custody. If you miss that TAP evaluation, a motion to revoke is going to be filed.
Yes, ma'am.
If she's not accepted in felony drug court, then we'll follow the recommendations of TAP. However, if TAP recommends inpatient treatment, we'll start with intensive outpatient treatment first. I'm going to want sober meetings, field visits, 2 times per month, random. There's to be no contact with Roy Laurel. How do you spell his last name?
Laurel.
I had it spelled correctly. So there's to be no contact with him. Defendant is to reside at Haven for Hope. If you wish to leave Haven for Hope because you found a new place, let us know and I will be willing to consider that. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
But a new place doesn't mean that you're allowed to stay with anyone who has children. You understand? I'm not going to allow you to reside, and I'll put that in here. Defendant is not allowed to reside in any household with minor children. Probation, is there anything else she needs?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anything else you need from me in order to be successful?
I don't believe so. I think that pretty well
Okay.
covers everything.
All right, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you. We can go off the record. So here's the thing, Miss Starr. You have children. You haven't had a good start with them. I'm going to tell you what I tell everybody, where you are in your life at this point in time. Hopefully that's not where you will end up. You will grow, you will learn, and you will do better and be better for your children. Okay.
Most definitely.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank
Thank you.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes.
It's just.
Norma, we need Deborah Burke back. And we need Charles Bonk. Are the people here on Miguel Espinosa?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, where's Miguel Espinosa?
Right there.
Come forward. Okay, I don't have the bond motion on this.
On those, Judge, we have an agreement in both cases. Partial, he's looking at, see if we can agree on let Mr. Espinosa go to work.
Okay, is this just a GPS issue or something more?
No, he was originally charged with the assault, and then he picked up the violation for protective order. So the court remanded him without bond on that case.
Mhm.
After he paid the bond, he then got the new case. The new case has been indicted. In the new case, he's got a $10,000 bond. The other one is remanded without bond. So
All right, if I remanded him without bond, in which case was he remanded without bond on?
the assault, and that's because he picked up those two cases and an MTR, but the MTR was withdrawn on his probation case.
But I have someone who has an assault, family choking, and the offense date is May 23rd of 2022. And then I have this violation bond protective order on July 31st, 2022. So it appears to be the same person, so I don't understand why I would give him a bond.
And Judge, I'm looking at some additional stuff now that you've asked me to.
Because this
some
is,
GPS issues, and I probably need to confer with.
all right, because this is the same complaint, and I can tell you both, I'm not inclined to remove my remain without bond because it appears that he's violating the court's orders. Now, what I will tell you, Mr. Espinosa, I don't take the facts as true because nobody's giving me any facts. But what I do know is that you're on bond for an assault, family choking, and the complainant is Miss Reyes. And that was from May 23rd, 2022. And then now I have another case before me that is from July 31st, 2022. And it is Miss Reyes again. And on it, it says that you struck her with your hand. That's what's in the indictment. So the court is not inclined to remove its remain without bond because there's a reason it's there. So if y'all want to still have your hearing, of course, I will be open-minded and listen to everything. But the issue I have is you're on bond for a violent offense, and then you pick up another offense, and that offense is also violent. It's just not a violation of bond conditions or violation of protective order. It's violation of a bond or condition, and it's a violent violation. You understand? So if y'all want to confer, you can, but I'm not inclined to lift the court's remand without bond. All right, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. You all ready?
There you go. And was this one that was done by? Okay, all right, thank you. They're going to come back and approach on this. Yes, just have them grab your file.
My diet.
I got people. One of them up there. That's you.
All right, is Mr. Meyer in the,
Yes, he is, Your Honor. He's right there.
okay,
He was waiting for Norma.
all right, let me see the file on Kilpatrick, yes.
She on Zoom? Oh, okay. Like in the office Zoom or
No.
like at home Zoom? Oh, okay, I'll email her then. I was like, wait.
All right, Mr. Meyer, what are we doing with Mr. Kilpatrick? And Mr. Kilpatrick, you can leave your items there. No one will touch them. All right, so where are we with regards to trial? I know that impact court doesn't have any more jurors available. So what is happening with Mr. Kilpatrick's case?
Mr. Kilpatrick would still like to invoke the jury, so I would consider, I was talking whether he would consider a bench trial, but he still insists on having a jury trial, so he's not gonna waive that.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I get a jury trial as soon as possible?
Oh, yeah, I think yes.
No, my also asked too, I know it was a motion discovery filed, but it show all the tangible and all the evidence that's against.
Your
it.
attorney has already received all of the discovery. So if you want your attorney to sit with you in the courtroom and go over the state's file, you're more than welcome to do that.
I want to definitely do all state files. Number two, the victim impact court, which I don't understand, one thing I definitely will say for sure before the court, with due respect, since the state.
Okay, let me just explain something. Let me stop you right there. And I want you to internalize what I'm about to say to you, okay? When people come before me, or even if people are just having conversations, when people say, in all honesty, you know what's coming after that? Something that's not honest.
Oh, no,
When people say, well, wait a minute.
Oh, yes.
When people say, with all due respect, guess what's coming after that? Something that's not respectful. And people try to soften the blow by saying, in all due respect, for example, in all due respect, I don't like for attorneys not to wear a tie. Now, see how that softens the blow? But I'm
yes.
still giving them a lack of respect.
That's another example.
And here's the thing, in all honesty, it's raining outside. So that's not true.
Yeah,
So here's the thing, this is where we are. You're gonna get your jury trial date. Your jury trial date is gonna be November 15th. And we will see you then. You will get a reset form for November 15th.
By the way, I know this is a quick reset. I mean, one thing I do want to know, like, for instance, I want to ask, like, I know this victim, whatever it's supposed to be a victim impact court.
It is not a victim impact court. It is called an impact court. And guess what? We have use of that court this week. So that's why you were sent there, so that we could have jury trials up here and there could be jury trials going on down there.
Yes, also I want to ask my attorney to also recover the property that I was arrested with, because Bexar County said it doesn't have the property I arrested with in the state trooper. So I need to see the property I arrested with. They won't come up off my property, or should I send a proper way to submit my property? Because I've been going through an economic burden and since this arrest to today, dealing with Bexar County. And definitely stern and constraining conditions with this monotone will make it more difficult for me, and I have to work.
Well, let me explain to you why you're on the monitor, okay? You have a case from 2000, that is 2022 CR 6824. That's an assault on a public servant. I don't take it as true, but that's what it is. 2022 CR 2121, assault on a public servant. 2022 CR 2122, retaliation. That's why you're on bond. And that's why, I'm sorry, that is why you have the GPS. So your court date is November 15th, and you need to be ready for jury trial. Is there anything else?
Main thing,
No, yeah.
Also, I will just speak on my defense, at the jury trial.
You may do whatever you choose to do at your jury trial.
And one thing-
I would tell you, you may want to confer with your attorney before you do whatever you want to do at your jury trial. But your jury trial is going to be November 15th at 9 a.m. You understand? Any other questions?
The main question I would ask them just, which I asked my attorney, I wish it was a way I could make a request to submit my property to me, and this was some important property. And I definitely need that.
All right, so once your attorney files a motion for release of property or confer with the state over whatever property you have, then
Link with my arrest.
just a
So-
moment. So here's the thing. The court will hear whatever motions your attorney file. Now, if it's something that is and somehow related to the offense, the state is probably not going to want to hand it over, but your counsel is more than able, and the court will allow him to confer with the state on that. Now, the other issue, you said you would like to go over the state's file with your attorney?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Marriott, have you sat down with your client and reviewed the state's file with him?
We have not had an occasion where he came by my office to review the full array of evidence.
Okay, when do you want him to come by your office?
I would like him to come by my office Friday afternoon.
All right.
From 1 to 5, I will be open. He can walk in.
All right, so you go by to your attorney's office on Friday from 1 to 5, and your attorney will go over the entire state's file with you.
Okay, I'll make an effort. And also, I want to add something.
Do you know where your attorney's office is located?
Put my address on the reset form.
Yeah, so,
And also on the reset form, if you could give him something and know what time you expect him at your office.
and,
Sure.
one more thing, Your Honor, I definitely have a job, a taxpaying citizen, so that's what makes it even hard, these 2 consecutive days I can show up in this courtroom.
Mhm.
And I'm paying, pretty much have to pay my rent.
No, I understand.
In order to maintain my residency, so, I mean, this here, I'm gonna be so honest with you, this here is, which
See?
is gonna have to be explained at jury.
You're
trial.
trying to soften the blow for me.
No, I ain't softening, I'm just telling straight up, it's
Mhm.
straight up ears, untrue statements, untrue stories.
Okay, so that's
I'm gonna
something
get
you
to
present with the
So,
to a
I'm
jury.
not gonna soften the blow by beyond.
No, stop. That is what you submit to a jury. I'm not here to hear your jury trial because you're not doing a bench trial. So you need to sign your reset form. All right, who's here on Placido Jacques?
Joe, you walked out.
Have a seat.
Okay.
I'm not.
Well, it's still Friday though. It's still, well, it's not actually Friday, but it still has a Friday feel for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day outside and we're about to start with some fall weather, I think, finally.
Yes, it's wonderful. Okay. May I come inside the velvet rope at Studio 54? Or-
No, I only allow passage beyond that point for specific reasons. So,
With all due respect, Ms. Bush.
yes. Oh, it's like Gandalf, you shall not pass.
Actually, I always think.
So
of
what's
the
going
knight
on?
from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Ah,
It's only a flesh wound.
yes.
Sorry. Okay. I'm here on a gentleman. Torrance Kiki Knowles. I actually need to e-file my notice because yesterday when I looked at the case, I was still his attorney, but you appointed somebody yesterday. And so now I have the unfiled notice with me, so I'll take care of that. But I wanted to see about getting a bond set for him. I can give you a case number. I'm not sure how you would like to proceed.
You would have to set that for a hearing. Yes.
In front of you or Judge Carruthers?
If you're setting it in front of me, then we'll have to have him apply for a PR bond so that I can have all the information I need in order to make a informed decision on the bond.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. Thanks for stopping in. It's always a pleasure to see you here.
Likewise.
Okay,
And just if I can say one more thing.
yes.
You're completely right about, in all honesty and with all due respect, there's one other I'd like to add to the list.
Mhm.
I got your back. Those are the people who have your back the least.
Yeah.
There's several times through, and I notice you got the sign up on the door. Clerks are out. I just.
When I'm in here, I don't receive calls.
Okay, all right. I'll get everything filed on this. Thank you.
It's a.
It's a vibration report. Good job, vibration report. Where you are?
Good morning. Hi. All right, you ready on Mr. Placido Jacques? All right, Mr. Jacques, come forward. All right, so what is happening with these cases?
First of all, I believe this is his first appearance.
Mhm.
And I now have an offer. I have not had a chance to review the evidence. And he desires to confer with his family. And that's where we are.
All right, Mr. Jacques, how old are you?
41.
You heard my speech, right? The time to confer with your family is before any of this happens. You understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm going to give you time to confer with your family. How much time do you need to make a decision on the state's offer?
Well, he and I will try to talk this weekend. And then you need to talk to your family after we talk, so.
All right, do you have all the discovery?
I've got a bunch, but I've not looked at it, been in trial.
All right, so Ms. Ferguson, we're going to call Mr. Jacques back in 1 week. And I'm sorry, not 1 week, 1 month. And that's for you to have all your discovery. Then immediately after that, I'm going to give you a plea deadline date. Do you understand? All right, so Ms. Ferguson, what date? All right, so we're going to come back. I don't know. She's putting it on in my birth month. So we're coming back on November 2nd, and that's going to be to make sure you have all the discovery.
I probably already have it, but that's fine. November the 2nd.
Mhm. All right, we will see you then.
Thank you very
And
much.
Mr.
Have the excuse.
Yes, Mr. Jacques, I'm going to expect you to have talked to your family or whoever you need to speak to regarding the offer, if that's what you choose to do. Your attorney will probably speak to you about whether you should be doing that over the phone. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, defense, is there anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Have a great rest of your day, Mr. Steinberg. All right, and Ms. Ferguson, I put something in the chat for you. All right, who's here on Johnny Colunga? All right, Johnny Colunga. Hello, Mr. Colunga. How are you doing? All right, so you're mumbling. I can't hear you. Oh, I'm doing fine. Is that the loudest you can speak? All right, so we have a problem. The problem is you're on bond and you're continuing to use drugs.
Yes, I've come out dirty.
So what are you doing with yourself to handle this issue?
Staying busy, working and stuff, man.
All right, you know, when you use drugs, you never know what you're gonna get. And you're using opiates, which is doubly bad because people will overdose on opiates. Do you understand that?
I'm looking for a outside patient or something to get some help or something.
See, people always want to write their own program. So now you're coming to me saying you want outpatient treatment. Here's the thing, if you could,
I've been doing time.
but here's the thing. If you could do your own program and write your own program, we wouldn't be here with you testing positive.
Yes,
So what is happening with these underlying cases, State?
Judge, they are not indicted yet. I looked at them, I made an offer. I don't believe Michael's had a chance to look at it himself though.
All right, so we're gonna come back here in 2 weeks. And you can make a decision on what the state is offering. And I'm going to order more testing for you. And I'm going to ask that you be considered for some type of treatment, because obviously you need treatment. Ms. Ferguson, can I have a reset date on Mr. Colunga? And we're going to come back in 2 weeks. And you need to let the court know at that time whether or not you're accepting the state's offer or not. Do you understand? So you're going to come back on October 17th. And just 1 moment. If you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be? And you need to be honest with me.
Probably dirty because they've been.
All right, when's the last time you used it? And just be honest with me, because before you answer, wait a second, before you answer me, I want you to know something. I'm trying to figure out what type of treatment you need to in order to help you. So maybe you won't go out of this courtroom and end up overdosing. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So be honest with me. When's the last time you used?
The day before yesterday.
All right. And how often are you using? Be honest.
Like every other day, once in a while, but I'm not injecting or nothing. I'm not doing nothing like that.
Well, see, that doesn't make it any better. I know sometimes people are like, I'm doing drugs, but at least I'm not injecting. All right. So we may not, Norma, we're going to have to come back sooner for him than October 17th. Let me see. Norma, can you put him the week of October 3rd? I know we have that jury selection, but can you put him the week of October 3rd, please? I'll be able to do more for him than just being on pretrial.
I just have so much.
Well, what's your free day?
Well, it was the 17th.
I know. But what do you have something free? Because I'm concerned.
This next week, Your Honor?
Yes.
I could probably do it Friday the 7th. No.
Yeah. Because
Thursday.
we're going to be in trial.
Thursday the 6th now.
Okay, the 6th. Okay, so we'll put it for October 6th, and I'll make a notation that you may be running late, but you need to be here on time on October 6th. All right. So this is what I'm going to send this over to pretrial services. What I'm going to do is we're going to continue with drug testing. And, well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna see if they can do a UA hotline for you. Now, here's the thing about the UA hotline. The good thing about it for me is that with the UA hotline, do you have a whiteout? Does anybody have whiteout? Oh, thank you, because this doesn't work. It's torn. We're gonna do the UA hotline. And the good thing about the UA hotline is they will call you and just tell you, well, at least when you call them, they'll tell you either you test or you don't test. But for you, I'm gonna want you to test. And we are going to do sober meetings as well. So when you leave here today, you need to go to a sober meeting. And they've changed the names for everything. It's really an AA meeting or an NA meeting. So we're going to do sober support meetings 3 times per week. And you can do those anywhere. And that's going to start today. So you need to find a sober meeting today. Do you have any family? Who's with you? Where is she? All right. So how old is your sister? Is she the older sister or is she your younger sister? Oh, she's your younger sister? So she's your older sister. So look, do you stay with her?
No, I stay with my mom.
Here's the thing, you bring in drama to your mom's house because you're using.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you. Can I have the sister come up, please? Did she bring you down here today? So here's the thing, you're bringing drama to your mom's house. And your mom, every time you use, you break her heart.
Yes, ma'am.
And are you employed?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do?
Do construction and odd jobs.
Here's the thing, odd jobs is not helping your mom.
Yes.
You need to work on a regular basis. You need to be busy so you don't have time to use.
Yes, I know.
You understand? Now, I can tell you what I see in your future if you don't make changes. You may leave here, you may be like, who cares what that judge says? And you go and use. And that may be the last time you use. Then you know what's going to end up happening? Your mom's going to be disappointed. She's going to be sad. She's going to be crying. Your sister's going to have to pick up the pieces and they're going to be planning your funeral. And then I'm going to read about it in the paper in the obituaries. You understand? Is there anything else I can give him to help him?
I have no idea what I can help him with anymore.
Okay. So why did you start using?
It's a bad drug. There's a lot of those out there.
Mhm. So listen, we're going to come back here on October
That's a
6th.
disease, isn't that, I mean, I don't know, but it's a bad drug. It's hard to stop.
All right, we're going to come back here on October 6th. Between now and then, you had better show me that you're going to sober support meetings. If I get a second violation that you're not going to sober support meetings, you know what's going to end up happening? You're going to end up in custody, and I guarantee you, you're going to get treatment because you're going to be in custody. You understand? And you had better not have any drugs, any drug paraphernalia at your mom's house. You understand? She doesn't need that. And I don't know how your bedroom looks at her house, but you better clean it up and help around the house. Does he help around the house?
He does something to mama.
Okay. Well, maybe you could paint the house, even if it doesn't need painting, with the color that she wants. That'll keep you busy in the Texas heat. All right. So what I'm going to do, he's going to have to call a UA hotline. And when he calls that hotline, they'll tell him if he needs to come in and test. And he's going to do sober support meetings 3 times a week. Now, here's the thing about sober support meetings. I personally think you need them every day, but I didn't want to put that on your family members to take you every day. But you can take the VIA bus. You guys can get them a card. And there are sober meetings throughout the city and they're free. So anytime you think you are going to use or want to use, go to a sober support meeting. You understand? All right, is there anything else from either? Anything else? Anything else that he needs?
No, I just want to thank you for the treatment.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna do my best to try to help him solve his problem. Sometimes we need other people to help us.
Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you for coming down.
Where do we get the phone numbers from, John? Where do we get the phone numbers from?
Oh, what's gonna end up happening is they're gonna give him a call, and let me give you the number for his pretrial services officer. So you will have that, and he'll know, and he'll have it as well. And if something happens where he's not able to get in contact with his pretrial service officer, let me know. And just 1 second, I'll see if we can get him in. Norma, can you see if we can zoom in Mr. Fabian Ortiz? And I'll put his name and number in the chat. We'll see if we can get him in, but I'm going to give you the number as well. Council, that's the number.
I'll give it to my client.
Okay, and I'll give an extra, I'll write an extra one. Yes, Ortiz. And counsel, if you could just wait a moment, usually they zoom in very quickly.
Yeah, I'll wait as much as I can. I've got a county court form waiting on a plea for me.
Okay, I understand. And this is the other number. And if you want to give that to his sister. And I'll write a third one, so there can be a third one out there.
Fair enough, John.
And so we're going to see if he's going to zoom in real quickly, Mr. Colunga. If he doesn't, you need to call Fabian Ortiz today, okay? But we're going to see if he's going to zoom in real quick. And counsel, if you need to leave for county court 4, that's fine. I'm just going to see if they're able to do
Any
everything. I want.
issues, Norma has my number. She can
Yes.
text me and I'll sit back on.
All right, thank you. So just wait in court, Mr. Colunga, okay? Thank you.
Does he need to sign a reset for the 6th, John?
Yes. It's a reset for just put on their disposition.
Yeah, because he's not in that yet.
Yeah. Thank you. Let's see. And also, Ms. Ferguson, we need Mr. Cox back.
Yeah, but Judge,
Yes.
on Mr. Espinosa, we're gonna need a hearing and we need an interpreter.
Okay. All right, Ms. Ferguson, I need an interpreter for Miguel Espinosa. And state, are you all in agreement with the bond issue for Mr. Espinosa? Okay.
today.
So let's see, we don't have proof.
Still working on getting it. Did you see Michelle ordered her own stickers? I know, I told her, "Just tell them that, and I'll give you a." I don't know, she's gonna do it. Correct.
Go out and grab a pop. Just ask her first. Yeah.
I did go ask Kenzie if I could borrow her machine for that trial.
No, because then you're gonna get us like one.
Yes.
I'm pushing on a motion that we filed to withdraw as counsel on a case. I think the court, according to the note I have here from the staff of our office, that the court wanted her to be, or him to be taken into custody before.
Well, I mean, I wanted them present.
Yes, yes, ma'am. I know that they are in custody currently. I don't know how the court would prefer us to handle this.
Let me
I
see.
don't know that they're here today, Judge. I put a little note for myself there, so forgive that, please.
No problem. Because I believe if this is the same person, I believe someone came over.
They did,
And so-
Judge. I think that's absolutely correct.
Yeah, and so they have a court date set. If this is the same person,
I think it may be, Judge.
because I would never say this. My thing is,
No, that was actually just me making a note for myself.
No,
My
no,
apologies.
because what I always like to do is if an attorney is withdrawing from a client's case and also asking to be removed from the bond,
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like the person to be present so they can be made aware as opposed to somebody just knocking on their door and saying you're in
Absolutely.
custody.
And that was my impression, Judge. I'm sorry, this is a shorthand for myself.
Yes, no.
But I know that I believe he was a fugitive, and then he was finally taken into custody. So if the court would like us to just wait for the date for them to be here so we can do it all.
All right,
on the
if you'll check with Miss Ferguson
Yes, ma'am.
and see what date we can give there.
Very good, Judge.
Let me put in the chat box.
I'm sorry.
All right, if you can go in the back and have them pull the file for me.
I will. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Huerta.
So confused. Well, that was what day was? Oh, the plea, yeah, June 27th. Thank you.
All All right, and can I see the information on Patricia Perez?
Butch,
Yes.
he's here, he's been here. I texted Norma that I had to be in.
Why has he been in court? And I called the docket, he didn't answer. He hasn't been here in court.
Well, he texted me at 9 that he was here. And I was in Seguin, so I wasn't here.
No, he wasn't on time.
Okay,
All right. So this is the plea deadline.
okay.
All right. So what is happening?
I think we're gonna, let me talk to him.
Okay, sure. Okay,
It's
thank
ready.
you. No
I
problem.
texted Norma to let her know I was running late. 'Cause I was in Guadalupe County, then Kelly's kid has pink eyes, so
Okay.
anyway.
All right. Are we ready on Mr. Espinosa? Court is calling 2022 CR 8739 and 2022 CR 8740, State of Texas versus Miguel Espinosa. And just one moment for people announce. All right, thank you. Okay, could I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Michael Villarreal, sí.
for the defense?
Alfonso Otero on behalf of Mr. Espinosa.
Are you Mr. Espinosa?
Yes.
All right, we have an interpreter here. Could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear affirm you will faithfully translate from English into Spanish and Spanish into English, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Carmen Tarragona Sachs.
All right, we are here on a motion to set bond. The defendant has been remanded without bond in cause number 2022 CR 8739. Are both parties ready to proceed, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Judge.
All right, state, are you in objection to the motion to set bond?
Your Honor, I believe we're not in agreement to a bond amount as it relates to the case.
All right, and then in cause number 2022 CR 8740, the defense has filed a motion to reduce bond. Well, it's entitled motion to reduce bond conditions.
Judge, on that one, that's the violation of protective order. We're gonna withdraw that. He's got a bond on that one. So,
Okay. So the defense is withdrawing its motion in 2022 CR 8740. Is that correct?
yes, sir.
Any objections?
Oh, no, good.
Okay. All right, then we are only proceeding on cause number 2022 CR 8739. Are there any witnesses from the state?
We just have one item of evidence that we are offering, which is State's Exhibit number 1, which is the police report under cause number 2022 CR 8740, which is the violation that triggered and remain without bond on this cause number, which is 2022 CR 8739. And they can formally offer it for report.
Any objection?
Yes, Judge, although in bond proceedings, hearsay is the rules of, I'm sorry, the rules of evidence do not apply.
they do apply in motions where bond is denied.
Yes.
And so at this point, we object to the report as hearsay.
All right, that will be sustained.
And Judge, like we stated at the beginning, we're not in agreement as to the amount. Obviously, if it's the court is going to set a bond, then. And the state will be arguing for the amount of bond is set, whether it's relevant and admissible for that purpose.
All right, and of course, the state is aware that the court doesn't cross a bridge until it's been built. So right now, we're just focusing on, he's been remanded without bond. So I'm going to sustain the defense's objection. Now, of course, if the court decides to set a bond, then I will take into evidence State's Exhibit number 1.
Okay.
Do you have any witnesses?
Yes, Judge.
Who are you calling?
I'm calling Marta Garcia.
All right. Could you raise your right hand for me, please?
Is it okay if they stand so?
He understands.
Yes. All right, could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I swear to God.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Marta Garcia. Marta Garcia.
All right, defense.
And are you familiar with Mr. Miguel Espinosa?
See. Yes.
What's your relationship to him?
Me. He's my son.
And do you know, prior to him coming into custody, where was he living at?
212 Road Back Lane.
And
Lane.
who did he live with?
With me.
Who else lives in that house?
Mi esposo y my husband and my other son.
What are their names?
Mi esposo se llama Homero Cáceres. My husband's name is Homero Cáceres. Y Homero Cáceres. And Homero Cáceres Jr.
Does he have any other family living in that address?
No.
And does Miguel has any other family living in San Antonio?
No.
How long has, if you remember, how long has Miguel been in custody?
Like 2 months.
And do you know if he's released, he'll have a job?
Yes.
Who would he be working with?
With my husband's brother in construction.
And has he ever worked with him before?
Yes.
Now, have you tried to get some, I mean, there's some money, but on the amount, have you tried to get some money to bond Miguel out?
Yes.
Do you have that money?
Yes.
How much do you have?
2, 3.
$2 or $3?
$2,000 or $3,000.
Can you borrow money from someone else?
Yes.
And how much you can get if you borrow money from someone else?
Just like 3.
Okay. Do you have any property you may be able to sell to get money to bond your Miguel out?
No.
No more questions, Judge.
State.
You said that he was living with you, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and was that at the address on Rosebud Lane?
Yes.
And around July of 2022 was also Moses Marie Reyes living at the location?
Yes.
Okay. Were you aware that there was a no contact order in place at that time?
Yes.
So despite knowing the no contact order was in place, you still allow her to reside at the address with your son?
No,
Okay, so help me understand. She was living at that address, correct?
no,
You realize you just testified earlier that she was living at the address.
No, pues yo me di cuenta cuando se le dieron la orden de arresto, pero yo.
well, I just became aware of it when they gave him the arrest warrant, but
No sé si era mucho del Parlamento.
honestly, I never saw her.
Okay, so is it your testimony now that in July of 2022, Moses Marie Reyes was not living in that address?
No,
Would it surprise you to know that she told police that she was living in the address?
No objection, Judge.
What's the objection?
That's a proper impeachment evidence.
No, what's the legal objection?
Improper impeachment evidence.
That'll be overruled.
no, I didn't understand it very well.
Would it surprise you to know that Moses Marie Reyes told police that she was living in the residence in July of 2020?
Yes, it would surprise me.
Has she ever lived at the house?
Not that I know of.
So was she living in at that address in in May of 2022?
Ask and answer, Judge.
Overruled.
Can answer that question.
What did you say?
So was Moses Marie Reyes living at your address on Rosebud Lane in May of 2022?
No, she never.
Okay. Did Moses Marie and your son ever live together?
Not that I know of.
So. Has your son always lived at your house?
Yes, and a trailer.
So did he ever live on an address on Buffalo Street?
My son?
Yeah.
No,
But you were aware that he was been arrested twice, right?
yes,
Were any of those times at your house?
in my home, yes,
How many times?
like 2 times.
Because you were aware that at one point, he was arrested in May of 2022 at a Buffalo Street address.
Yes, he told me.
Okay. And so at that time, he was still living at your house. Is that your testimony?
Yes,
I'll pass it.
Defense.
Just one question to clarify, Judge. Can you describe the living arrangements of your property?
Sí, en mi casa y en un lado de patio, ahí está la traición.
yes, it's my home, and on one side of the property, there's a trailer where he lives.
So you don't live in the same part as you.
No, he lives on the side, to the side.
No more questions.
All right. Any other follow-up, State?
Just 1 second, Judge, I'm sorry. I'm looking at one.
All right, thank you so much for coming in. Defense, any other witnesses?
No, Judge.
All right. The court will hear a brief argument. Defense, is your motion, you may begin.
Well, Judge, defendants are constitutionally entitled to a reasonable bond. The only objection, the only exception to that when they can be remanded without bond is in a case where the defendant is accused or under accusation of family violence and then violates these conditions of bond by contacting or committing another offense against the same victim or complainant witness. However, the burden is on the state to prove by preponderance of the evidence that that offense or that allegation actually occurred, which has not happened in this case today. So given that stage of the facts, the defendant is entitled to a bond, and that has to be a reasonable bond. Now, if he's testified that he's got some money, the family has about $4,000 that they can use to get that bond. He's been in custody for 2 months, and there's family ties in the community. There has also work waiting for him while he's released. There's also a number of conditions that may secure his future presence in court, as well as the safety to the community, such as a protective order, such as partial GPS or GPS for him. And so, given that the amount that the family has able to raise is about $4,000, we're seeking a bond in the amount of $30,000.
All right. The court is going to deny the motion. Your client is remanded without bond. Is there anything else from either side?
My request is finest fact exclusion of law.
Yes. It will be filed.
Will it pass?
Yes. Yes, thank you so much. Mhm. Right, yes, they'll have to come back tomorrow. All right, it'll have to be tomorrow.
It's an agreed, I can get a hold of him, so.
No, it'll have to be tomorrow.
Okay, that's.
All
fine.
right,
I just
thank
didn't know if
you.
you wanted like a hearing, I was like. I
No,
don't
no,
have
that'll be tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
All right, Mr. Colunga, can you come forward? All right, Mr. Solis, on Mr. Colunga, is it possible for him to do the UA hotline? You're on mute.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
So with Mr. Colunga, I'm going to want him to do the UA hotline and sober support meetings. And I want him to do those, I believe I said at least 3 times per week. And on the UA hotline, make sure that even though he's calling in, that he's at least doing a UA at least once a week.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, is that possible?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So Mr. Colunga has the number to call, and it's the number of his pretrial services officer. But if there's another number for him to call, if you want him to call you today, he can do that.
Yes, Your Honor. The number that he's calling is my number, my office number.
Okay. And what is that number? Can you put it in the chat box for me, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ah, okay, it's the same number. All right, thank you. So you need to call your pretrial officer today. You understand? Today, yes. And it's actually going to be Mr. Solis. All right, so you need to
Just call him and. it's
Yes.
gonna give me the-
call today. And when I say call today, call right now. If you have your cell phone with you, call him right now so you can schedule your appointment, okay?
Thank you, man.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Solis.
Yes, Your Honor, absolutely.
All right, Patricia Perez. Yes. And could I have someone from the state? I'm Patricia Perez. Where's your client?
I'm waiting on her to arrive. She lives in Bernie and had to get an Uber. And the first Uber didn't show up, so she ordered.
Whose phone is that?
Not mine.
All right, so your client was to be here at 9. I'm going to issue a judge's warrant. If she appears, then the court will reconsider.
Yeah, she's on her way, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you. Here you go.
All right, Delgado.
Judge, that's the case I approached on earlier, the
Mhm.
to withdraw. Court asked for a copy of the court's file on that one.
Yes.
It looks like there's a setting on the 5th of October.
Yes.
We're happy to wait for that setting if that's what the court.
Okay, so we'll come back on October 5th.
Very good, Judge.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, what is happening on Salazar? Yes, we're ready for Salazar. And what is happening on Carroll?
So I don't know. But at least what he told me was that he's accepting the plea bargain, but that he can't do it. Bunk can't do it today. So he was trying to do it on another day. I kind of tentatively got the paperwork together just because
No,
I knew
that needs to be done today.
But I don't know where Charles is going. I got the paperwork kind of together. Charles was asking if he could do a jury waiver and then come back and finish the plea.
No, we need to do the plea today. I mean, it continues to appear on the docket. All right, Mr. Cox on Salazar. All right, so are we having this hearing today?
Well. I don't know, Jay. I mean, why I say that is that he got a violation, he was arrested, and he made the bond. So he's already received some consequences even prior to coming here. So this case was, like I said, I got no just and called to come here. But without really notification that it's set for hearing or what is set for.
All right, it's coming back tomorrow for a hearing.
Well, I mean, is there any detail? I mean, because most times it just, if somebody get noticed, there's some type of complaint, you get a notice, you know what you set for, you know how to prepare.
Well, I mean, now
You call
everybody,
that due process.
no, I understand what you're saying, but here's what attorneys, not you, Mr. Cox, but some attorneys don't understand. I do hearings on violation reports so that people will know what's going on. But Mr. Salazar, I don't have to have a hearing on a violation report. I can make a ruling on the document that I received, and then we can have a hearing. If I decide for somebody to be in custody, we can have a hearing from the Bexar County Jail. So I'm giving you all a chance to address the issue by setting this. So I can recall this for tomorrow, and if you all want to continue to confer, and I do have the email, Mr. Cox, that it was sent to you at 2:24 p.m., but instead of after hours. So we can come back tomorrow and have a hearing on this matter. I do see that some person on the CM case, which is why we're here, gave him GPS full house arrest and no contact and no firearm possessions, but that's the case. That's not the case that I'm here on. I'm here on the fact that he has other prior offenses, and I don't take them to be true, but other prior offenses that are violent offenses. And so this violation report is about the violent offenses. It's not necessarily about the CM number because you've already been giving a bond for that. So it's about the fact that allegedly you were on bond for 2 violent offenses and you've picked up a violation of court order or bond condition. So I will see you all here tomorrow to address that.
Can I see the copy?
Yes.
Over with the.
All right. So I'll see you all tomorrow. And can you give them a reset form for tomorrow? And if you, and Mr. Cox, if you want to continue to confer, you can continue to confer, but you all will be back here tomorrow. Ms. Ferguson, Mr. Salazar is going to be back here tomorrow. And Mr. Salazar, the reason why there is a quick turnaround on this is because you're on bond for a violent offense. And then allegedly, you have picked up a violation of court order or bond. Now, at this point in time, it appears that it's the same complainant on the other cases, but we're going to hear this tomorrow.
Well, Judge, in that case, could I have one thing?
Yes.
All right, we'll do tomorrow. Judge.
All right. So you'll receive a reset. You're to be back here tomorrow, and there better not be any alleged violations between now and then. Do you understand? No. You want to talk to your attorney. I'm sure Mr. Cox does not want you speaking to the court without clearing it with him.
He's in school, and what happens is that based on the modification, he can't go to school. So he just wanted to know whether the court can give him something that he can go to school, that he's not voluntarily not going, but that he's restricted. No.
Yeah. I mean, my understanding is that depending on what school he's at, because as you know, I teach at UTSA, they have where you can appear by Zoom.
On some days, 2 days out of the week, I have to go and there's the clinicals. I'm gonna graduate. It's supposed to be in December. I'm in the post college.
Well, I mean, we are where we are.
All
right,
And it's
see you.
9 o'clock, Judge?
9 o'clock. And State, have you completed the paperwork on Mr. Carroll?
Judge, I have it ready. The only thing that I just need to talk to Mr. Bunk about one little thing, but I have it all ready and printed out.
Okay.
I also don't know when Mr. Carroll is. Oh.
Brenda, why do people insist on waiting outside? Are we not a cordial court? All right, and so Mr. Carroll is the last case on the docket. I believe Mr. Ferrera on Richard Waltall, he's not here, so I'm assuming he no longer wants that heard. See, I'm not, I prefer the other one. I do.
It's a ball of confusion, Derek.
Oh, now you bringing the
That's what the world
temptations
is
in here?
today. People moving out, people moving in, why? People with the COVID. Run, run, run.
Could you place this on mute, please? Ferguson.
If you want to lose your money, get on the side.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 30-day reset on Mr. Carroll, please?
November 3rd.
And he's only pleading to one case.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, she's gonna send that to me. Brenna?
Yes.
All right, the court is calling 2019 CR 6812 State of Texas versus Joshua Tremaine Carroll. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Crime groomer for the state.
for the
Charles
defense?
Blunt for Mr. Carroll.
And are you Mr. Carroll?
No, Joshua Carroll.
All right, the council, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
I have.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Carroll, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you weigh the reading of the indictment?
We do understanding that we're pleading on count 2 and their state, I anticipate the state waiving and abandoning count 1.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Judge, yeah, I believe it's listed as paragraphs, but we're proceeding on paragraph B, which is aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury, waiving paragraph.
That is my understanding as well. We don't object to that.
All right. All right, Mr. Carroll, I'm going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did you understand in paragraph B, you're charged with aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury? That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand? If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights? And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
No, I did.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes,
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes.
Mr. Carroll, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No,
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
no,
Are you a U.S. citizen?
no.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
I did.
According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on paragraph B. Punishments be assessed at 2 years in the prison. There's a $500 fine. There are no applications. State will take in consideration the following cause numbers: 2021 CR 2207, 2021 CR 1465, 2021 CR 2771. You are to show up for sentencing on November 3rd at 9 a.m. If you do not appear on November 3rd at 9 a.m., you will be subjected to the full range of punishment, but your plea will stand. Do you understand? So do you understand that if you do not show up for sentencing, the court could sentence you up to 20 years in prison?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you understand that to be the entirety of the plea bargain agreement? Defense is at the plea bargain agreement?
is, Judge.
State is at the plea bargain agreement.
It is, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in both places?
I did.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand? Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Judge.
Then to the offense as charged in paragraph B, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence.
Yes, Judge. State would offer state's exhibit number 1.
We have reviewed the same and have no objections.
Mr. Carroll, I'm showing you what's entitled Waivering Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, I did.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call them the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will find you guilty. And we will come back on sentencing on November 3rd at 9 a.m. And could you give them a reset form? All right, thank you. No PSI. All right, then everyone, we will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Thank you, Judge. May we be excused?